And I do want to thank, again, all of you for being here. I'd like to yield to my good friend, Ranking Member Jacobs, for any comments you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you, all the witnesses, for testifying before the subcommittee on this important topic. Freedom of religion or belief is a fundamental human right. This right is universal, and it must be applied equally to everyone, no matter what religion or belief they practice, or if they practice none at all. No country should get to cherry pick what religions they favor, or use religious freedom, religious persecution, or even a crisis like the rise in anti-Semitism as a shield to discriminate or as a weapon. So while I'm glad that the Trump administration has supposedly shown its support for this issue, I'm concerned this interest will be shallow and narrowly confined to only a small subset of religious freedom issues that match the demographics of their political base. But I hope the administration proves me wrong. They can start by actually investing in their own institutions, staffing, and toolkit to make this a priority, comprehensive, and enduring. For one, we still do not have a nominee for the ambassador-at-large position. And Secretary Rubio downgraded the Office of International Religious Freedom by putting it under the Bureau for Democracy, Human Rights, and Labor, rather than keeping it as its own independent office. The department has yet to release the 2024 Annual International Religious Freedom Report that was due last May, and it's already behind in writing the 2025 report that is due in a few months. This administration has also completely gutted this toolkit that could help religious freedom defenders around the world. As part of its foreign assistance review, the administration cut millions of dollars worth of foreign assistance related to international religious freedom. For example, Freedom House has reported that the administration terminated its Asia Religious and Ethnic Freedom Program that was supporting 4,000 members of religious minority groups facing discrimination and persecution, including Christian minority groups, Uyghurs, and others. And another U.S.-funded NGO shared with my office that cuts left 400 cases of religious freedom defenders in limbo. This means that this organization could no longer provide life-saving assistance to Afghan women who bravely ran for public office following the U.S. withdrawal, or Iranian journalists who were reporting on human rights violations by Iran's regime, or Nicaraguan journalists who have been arrested and forced into exile by the regime, and many, many more. And as I brought up during last year's Nigeria hearing, despite the administration's apparent interest in addressing conflict and religious tensions in Nigeria, it has cut hundreds of millions of dollars in foreign assistance to Nigeria, including assistance to faith leaders and to communities experiencing violence in the Middle Belt. For example, Secretary Rubio terminated a conflict resolution program, community initiatives to promote peace, that trained religious and tribal leaders in northern Nigeria, which was already showing to be extremely effective at reducing violence in communities. The violence in Nigeria is complex, affecting both Christians and Muslims, and the drivers of this violence are multifaceted and cannot be reduced to a single framing. In fact, oversimplistic narratives can further inflame religious tensions in communities. And yet, it is clear that President Trump only cares about Christians in Nigeria, and his only real action to address this problem, military strikes over Christmas, have not even done anything to materially help those communities. So far, it seems to me the administration's interest in religious freedom only goes so far, and it mostly applies to the plight of Christians abroad. But again, I hope the Trump administration proves me wrong and takes the steps I outlined to start prioritizing religious freedom abroad. And I hope today we can have a more nuanced conversation that discusses the freedom of religion or belief more comprehensively, and that addresses many communities in need of support, from Uyghur communities in China to Tibetans to the Rohingya in Myanmar to religious minorities in Iran and elsewhere. So I look forward to hearing from all of the esteemed witnesses today to better understand the state of international religious freedom and how the Trump administration can truly champion this issue. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.